Okay.
I grew up in Gamla stan. I lived there all my Swedish life. And my mother and father had lived there since the 1930s. One of the stores down on Österlånggatan was a ship's furnishers. And they had the most beautiful brass bells that you could cling, ship's bells. They had compasses. They had all the accoutrements. And one day my mother saw in the window a gorgeous bag. It was a huge bag that looked a little bit like the old doctor's bags, a carpet bag. And it was literally made of upholstery material that could have been a carpet. It was one of the limited edition of bags made with a material that had been used as upholstery on the Swedish-American line's ships. I think it even said which ship particularly they had a remnant left over from. So they made these bags, maybe 100, I can't remember exactly how many, but there was this bag. It was gorgeous. The material itself was kind of a gray background, and it looked a little bit like velvet, but it wasn't velvet. It was much rougher and sturdier, Harvey. And it had a pattern that was the SAL pattern in dark gray, reddish, and a little greenish, as I remember. And the metal was brass, and the leather was green leather. The handles. And you open it up just like a doctor's bag, and it got to be a stiff thing. It had a beautiful locking brass mechanism to it. My mother was so enamored of that bag, and I at that point was of course in the United States. I had moved away when I was 22. Married, moved to the US, and she told afterwards that she had cried for 3 days when she got the letter that said I was engaged to an American. But then she reconciled herself to the whole idea. We had a lot of visiting back and forth. But anyway, she saw this bag, she thought of me, the Swedish-American line, the whole idea of emigrating and what you carry with you. So she bought the bag, one of the bags, for me, and gave it to me. And I still have it, I love it. It's hard to travel with because it's so big, it doesn't quite fit on an airplane. It doesn't serve as a handbag. So you have to choose that is your one piece. And it's not practical enough. A rollerboard is better. But it's a gorgeous piece, and when I can, I use it for special purposes, like performances, or just talking about immigration, talking about the Swedish-American heritage, pointing to this fabric. It's emblematic of the whole traffic back and forth, and what it meant. And I thought about it since, that the Swedish-American line provided something that airplanes provide in a smaller measure, and that is a kind of vacuum between worlds, a space where you are free and loose, and there isn't much you can do there, except just enjoy or be. And I think that was, for many people, a life-changing experience in itself. After working hard in Sweden, think of the immigrants who came onto a ship, and then, of course, the ship could be a hard ship too, but still, there was a vacuum, a space where you could make new connections, new friends, learn new things, open your eyes to the world, whatever. You could also suffer a lot, you could even die. But the whole idea of what that bag stood for, I think, is very much with me. And I love the bag, and I would like more opportunities to use it. Thank you for asking.
Thank you.